Hey folks, the character trait for March is orderliness. And I think this is such a great topic to talk about. Our family just finished the book of Leviticus. That's right, Leviticus. But I was amazed as I read that book, all the instruction God gave in how to keep the camp organized. Had certain tribes on this side of the ark, this side, north and south as well. He also gave certain instructions of things that you could do within the camp. Certain activities had to be done outside of the camp. And the point being, God was always being orderly. And I look now at our culture, how we've taken Christ out of the equation. And I've come to realize when you take Christ out of the equation, the result is chaos. I don't care if we attack the jurisdiction of marriage with all the gender stuff, that's left the marriage bed in a state of chaos as well as the family. I look at these big cities who politically are so corrupt, and you see the fallout, just the dirtiness of the city as well. So this is a very opportune time to talk about orderliness. And so how can we as parents be more orderly? Well, first and foremost, we've got to start with Jesus Christ. We've got to come to Him and say, Lord, if you've not been orderly, to confess that, to repent of that sin. I'm guilty, Lord. I am guilty of not being orderly with maybe my time, perhaps your hygiene, maybe your possession, your household, your spiritual life, whatever area we're talking about here, to confess that with God and then ask for grace. Folks, God is for you within this process. He will help you if you seek His face. Secondly, we have to remember that orderliness is a perspective. I hear folks give the excuse, if I had more time or more money, I would do that. And folks, those are just excuses. When you have the right perspective of orderliness, you understand you make time to be orderly. My dad used to work 70 hours a week up till I was about 16 years old, but yet every summer he would paint the entire soffit, the guttering, and the wooden seals around the window of our house to make it look neat. Let's face it, he didn't have much time, but he made time. And secondly, a coat of paint doesn't cost that much. Just the other day, I went through my hometown and it just looked junky. Soffits were falling down, windows were not being painted, and it just grieved me because of the lack of pride that people take in their possessions, or for Christians, the lack of stewardship before Christ that we have. Also, when we have trouble with orderliness, we just go to experts. There's blogs, there's books, there's podcasts, anything you want's out there. Take advantage of those resources. Also, start small. Find if it's an orderly problem in the house, start with one room, the smallest room, the neatest room. Maybe give them a fresh coat of paint. And that'll be a good way to motivate you to the next room and the next room after that. So start small. Also, start the night before. What do I mean by that? Every night before we end the day, we all go through the house to pick up everything. The kids will help as well because they usually made the mess. That includes getting all the dishes out of the sink, put in the dishwasher, wash whatever it might take. We want to start the next day off on the right foot. It's a bad feeling to start the day behind. So we start the night before by picking up. We also might take a few minutes to think about the next day. What will we be doing in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening? I'm not saying every minute or every hour, just overall context for the day. And that's especially true for Saturday night and preparing for Sunday. How many fights have happened on Sunday morning because we can't find the belt or that shoe of Johnny's? If we take 20 minutes out the night before, that would alleviate all of that stress on Sunday morning. So start the night before. Also remember the power of 15 and 30 minutes. We would like to all have 3 or 4 hours at a time to fix stuff, to clean stuff up. But folks, that very seldom happens. The other night, my son Digger and I had about 30 minutes before supper. And I said, Digger, let's just go out real quickly and let's just chainsaw a little bit. Now, we're making a little paintball course for my sons out in our woods. We took out 30 minutes, but we were shocked how much work we got done. And the next day when the boys went out and saw that, they were so motivated to try to work some more that next day on their own. So there is great power in blocks of 15 and 30 minutes. And finally, probably most importantly after God, you got to realize you can't have it all. Now, we think about rich people having a bunch of stuff, but can I tell you, there's a lot of poor people who have a bunch of stuff. And they keep stuff hoarded for so long, by the time they need it, they need a certain part, you can't even buy the part anymore. And so we got to be careful not to hoard. If we can't use it after 2 years, some people say 2 years, maybe even a year, get rid of it because you probably won't need it. And that's really hard for some folks. So these are just some very practical things and some spiritual ways to become more orderly in our lifestyle. And if we do that, I think we'll find such satisfaction and give also glory to Jesus Christ. This is Kirk Smith with ICHE's Take 5.